Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. For today's review, I'm going to take a look at the NECA Ultimate Edition Striker Eureka from Pacific Rim. Really nice artwork of the Striker Eureka in action in the front, and then spinning around to the side. You've got nice military-esque artwork to the back. Another artwork depicting Striker Eureka in action, protecting the harbour bridge and the Opera House, which is awesome. And then features down here, and on this side again, same artwork as the other side, as well as the top. And on the front, you can actually open the packaging up to see the figure inside, and that's held in by velcros. And there's like a very nice X-ray type image of the figure there. And here's a look at the inside of the packaging. So there's a nice backing card here with like a cityscape print, which is quite nice. You can use that for display. And here's the figure in the tray. It's held in by twisty tie there, and the accessories are either held in by twisty tie or jammed in or taped over. So everything's kind of protected, which is good. And then there is also a bag here for the missile firing effect part for his chest. And here are the accessories that Striker comes with. He comes with 3 missile firing effect parts, and these are very nicely made. They've got translucent part at the back to simulate thrust or fire, which is really cool, and the front is nicely painted in silver and gold, and it comes in 3 different sizes. And it comes with a detachable chest replacement part, which you can use to plug in the missiles, and I'll show you that on the figure in a minute. And he also comes with a detachable nuclear payload, which is this thing that plugs onto his back. And they have these movable, I'm not sure exactly what they are, but each of these things on the sides, or top and bottom, they're actually movable on ball joints. But I think this is part of the movie, but I can't remember what scene it was from. And to swap the chest piece for Striker, just pull this top piece off. Just tabbed in at 2 spots there, and then you tab this open chest piece on, and it looks really nice. And you notice it's got 6 holes, and you've only got 3 missiles, but you can basically configure it however you want. You can have it like all on the bottom row like this, firing in sequence, which looks really nice, or you can just have them kind of randomly laid out like top and bottom. And for the removable nuclear payload, it plugs into the back, and that's how it looks on the figure. And here's a closer look at Striker. I quite like the design of Striker actually. He's probably my favorite Jaeger design from Pacific Rim. I think it's due to the fact that he looks a little bit like a Japanese robot in terms of the proportions and design detail. Like these, I'm not sure if they're called backpacks or jet packs on the back. They look kind of cool, kind of anime-ish. And all these little round details on the shoulder pads. And on the chest you'll notice some really nice print detail here, like that bulldog logo, which is quite cool. And the paint job on the chest area is quite nice as well. The whole figure's been given a black wash, so I think that's where the panel lining gets the detailing from. And it looks a little bit on the dirty side, but it kind of makes it look gritty and realistic. And just having a look at the legs, heaps of panel lining detail there on the legs. And on the ankle, some good paint detail around these round, I'm not sure what they're called, round sculpted bits. Detail is not as sharp as a Japanese toy, but it's not too bad considering the price point of these things. And on both of Striker's forearms, he does come with the retractable sting blades, which just swing forward like this, just on a hinge joint there. And you can position them however you want, because they're kind of just sitting there. And if you want, you can actually take them off if you want to give him a cleaner and leaner look for the forearms. But my favorite gimmick for this toy would have to be the optional chest piece and these missiles that you can stick into it. These things just look really nice. And it gives this figure a sense of movement with these missiles attached. It looks like it's really come to life, like something's actually happening. So that looks really good on display. And with articulation, his head is on a double ball joint, but he can't look up very far because there is interference on the back here. So that's as far as he can look up, and then he can look down that much. And he's also got some side to side tilt, which is good. And then he can obviously rotate his head as well, like that. And for the shoulders, there's a hinge joint which allows him to lift up his arms that far. And it obviously rotates as well. So that's good. And then there is another hinge just outside here above the arm, which you can use to rotate. Well, you can use it to bend the arm even more. So this allows you to adjust the angle of this shoulder piece. So if you want it angled up but the hand down, you use that joint, and then you can have these shoulder pieces angling up while the hand's still pointing down. There's no bicep swivel up here where it should be traditionally, but it is located just above the elbow joint, so you can rotate his arms there. And then there's a single joint for the elbow, which gives him about a 90-degree bend. And then his hand is on a pin and hinge, so you can rotate and hinge in, and not too much out, just in. And then he's got I think a big ball joint for the diaphragm, which is quite good. He can crunch, well, he can't crunch forward, but he can extend backwards a little bit. And then slightly from side to side. But I am finding that this joint here is getting quite loose. So every time I tilt the figure forward and I touch it, it wants to kind of go backwards. So I might have to tighten that joint somehow later down the track. And moving down to his waist, there is a swivel joint, so he can rotate his waist. And with the hips, there is a pin and hinge, so he can kick up. Actually, he can't kick up very far. There is interference here on the leg design, so he can kick up only that far. And then backwards is quite good because there's no interference there. And then he can only do that much of a split, again due to the interference of the design. And then there's a thigh swivel just up here, so you can rotate his legs. And then single jointed knee, which is pretty poor. It's much less than 90 degrees, but it's okay, I guess. And then there is a ball jointed ankle. So with the ball joint on his ankles, it allows him to tilt his feet up and down, and also some rocking action from side to side. And you'll probably notice as I'm handling this guy that some of his joints are kind of starting to loosen up a bit. So if you can, try not to pose him too much, because I think these joints will become quite loose as you keep playing with the figure. And in terms of height, he comes in at just under 19 centimeters to the top of his head. First up is the NECA Ultimate Edition Gypsy Danger. Here he is with SH Monster Arts Hollywood Godzilla. Here he is with SH Monster Arts Shin Godzilla. Here he is with Robodamashi Gundam Barbatos. Here he is with Robodamashi Evangelion. Here he is with DC Icon Superman. And lastly, here he is with Marvel Legends Hydra Soldier. I think overall this is a very well designed toy, and the execution of the sculpt is quite good as well. The only downside is the fact that only having handled the figure for a couple of days, some of the joints are already starting to feel quite loose. Other than that, he looks really good on display, especially with the missile firing optional parts attached. If you're a fan of Pacific Rim, then this guy is right up your alley. Even if you're a casual collector of robots or mecha toys, this guy will fit quite nicely with even Japanese robots because of the styling. So I would recommend him for any robot or mecha fan. And that concludes my review of the Ultimate Edition Striker Eureka. Thank you guys again for watching my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you have any comments or any questions, please leave it in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time for another toy review.